According to the Ministry of Health, in 2018, there were about only 40,000 Vietnamese patients go abroad for medical examinations. Meanwhile, there were about 300,000 foreigners and overseas Vietnamese coming to Vietnam for medical examinations and treatments and use of medical services. Foreign patients often choose services such as cardiovascular, dental, surgical, cancer, and cosmetic interventions. The main reason for many foreigners, including people from developed countries like the US and Canada, to go to Vietnam is because the cost of treatment in Vietnam is more affordable than other countries, while the quality of the techniques is equivalent with skilled doctors and high success rates. In order to achieve this success, in recent years, many scientific and technical advances, new and modern technologies have been applied successfully in medical prevention and treatment. Some highly specialized techniques have been regularly carried out at many central and provincial hospitals, even at the district level. In today's program, we will meet with Hector Grimondo, and he will share his experiences of using healthcare services in Vietnam.
Greetings from Trai Vietnam on VTC10 Net Viet. In today's show, let's talk about the experiences of foreigners visiting the hospitals in Vietnam, and the guest speaker in our program today is Hector. So thank you, Hector, for joining us. The first question is, how has your life been in Vietnam so far?
Thank you again for having me. My life in Vietnam has been a roller coaster of emotions, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but it has always kept me wanting more and very curious about everything that is around me. Everything is much more different than I could have ever expected. I have been in Hanoi, Vietnam for about 2 years and 4 months, with some trips here and there. But
when you choose the next destination for your life, what are the criteria? Do you often consider the environment, culture, people, and also the medical services?
That's interesting. I have lived in America, Mexico, the Czech Republic, and now Vietnam. And my criteria for picking a place to live had always been self-development. You know, being in a place where you can make yourself known or grow within your career, but also have a relaxed life, not be too overwhelmed or stressed. And I feel that Vietnam has really been such a good balance between the people. They have a very relaxed, welcoming vibe to the whole country. As well, they are very hardworking. They are up so early in the morning, they go to sleep early at night, and that has really reflected on who I am today and how I transformed when I first came here to the person that I am now. So mostly the criteria that I think of, it's not much, but rather I adopt what I learned from these countries, and I'm really happy for what Vietnam has taught me.
Recently, you visited the military hospital 108, so can you share with us about the experience that you got over there?
Yes, my first impression from the hospital 108 was its size, its cleanliness, and the way that it works together. Walking through the hospital, you can really see the sense of how everything is placed and works together. Mostly, it takes you through the process quite easily. The first encounter that I had with an employee from the hospital was quite great. She practiced her English with me, of course, which was fantastic. But like most Vietnamese, even though their English is great, they still tell you that it's not. But her English was out of the charts, and she really made the process very clear. She took me step by step what I needed to expect, what was needed to be done, and that gave me a very good sense of relief, and knowing that she knows exactly what she's doing rather than somebody that doesn't have an idea. Then after, well, they took me to meet one of the doctors there, and he was quite fun. We talked about both of our college experiences. We talked about how we stay fit, what exercises we like to engage in. We talked about his family and my family. So while he was examining me, we weren't focused on the procedure. We weren't focused on the results or the numbers, but rather a real live person communication. Then after he explained very thoroughly my numbers and what they meant to me, and he was patient enough to explain it to me until I understood. So both the personal experience and the professional experience were really, really relaxing. It made me feel very at ease.
Hector and his friend went to 108 Military General Hospital for a general health checkup. Since Hector and Alex have been living in Vietnam for more than 2 years now, they have had many visits to hospitals for various reasons.
I have heard about the other hospitals. You have the French hospital, you have the Vietnamese, German hospital. One of my friends recommended me to come to this hospital, and as I can see, the facilities, they seem very nice, very clean. The staff, they have been very helpful, and it's easy for me because I can speak English to the staff, and that it's easier for me to communicate my problems. Well, it is definitely cheaper attending a hospital in Vietnam than in the US. In the US, it's super expensive, and if you don't have a health insurance, then you can pay in the thousands of dollars. Even getting a blood sample can cost you $100, for example, whereas in here it's just a lot cheaper.
Having x-rays and checkups on blood pressure, ears, nose, and throat, Hector and Alex are very satisfied with the services here.
I feel especially today in this hospital, they made me feel very safe, not worried. But today coming here, the staff, the doctors and the facilities were all really professional, they're all really high level, and they made me feel relaxed and just being able to enjoy my conversations rather than worry about what my problem is. So I think that was a major difference in my visit today.
Một công trình y tế hiện đại, đồng bộ cùng với nguồn nhân lực chất lượng cao, hùng hậu, dồi dào, cho phép Bệnh viện Trung ương Quân đội 108 sớm phấn đấu trở thành một bệnh viện đẳng cấp quốc tế, góp phần nâng cao chất lượng chuyên môn, chất lượng chăm sóc phục vụ với nhu cầu ngày càng cao về khám, chữa bệnh cho các đồng chí cán bộ cao cấp của Đảng, Nhà nước, cán bộ cao cấp quân đội, cho bộ đội và nhân dân.
According to the representative from the Ministry of Health, in the coming time, many hospitals will continue to be upgraded with equipment and facilities. This promises to attract not only Vietnamese people, but also many foreigners living in Vietnam to use medical services.
Vietnam is a developing country and the healthcare services are being improved. So if compare the service in Vietnam with other countries where you have been to, what can you say?
Interesting. I think I am the right person to be asking this to, because I have been in hospitals in each country that I've lived in. So the first thing that comes to mind is readiness and willingness to help. You know, sometimes when a hospital is very developed or famous, or, you know, it could be a million things, they see you more like not as a personal patient, but rather somebody that came in on that one day that needed that one thing. But the feeling that I had in the military hospital was really personal. I had a chat with my doctor, I had a chat with everybody. I was always uplifted by having conversations with staff, and they kept me both relaxed, thinking that everything's okay, and they were all very well managed. They developed their schedule really quite well working together. Through Vietnam being a developing country, there are some procedures or operations that people flee to other countries to acquire that operation. But something that you see every day in the city, you can see it in the medical field. It's just as Vietnam is developing, just as business, just as language, everything is developing equally, and so is the medical field.
What about the experiences of your friends who are the foreigners coming here to Vietnam?
Okay, let's think about a scenario. There is a traveler, and he's traveling through America, and he has a motorcycle accident. He goes to the hospital, he doesn't have insurance, and therefore he cannot afford the procedure and the care that he requires, which is something quite terrible. When people need it the most, we should be able to help. And now take a traveler in Vietnam, for example. I have had friends that have accidents in Phu Quoc, in Nha Trang, in Hanoi, and not once have I heard of the hospital rejecting them because of not being able to pay. Not once have I heard that people weren't eager to help them. I have always heard their stories. I went to the hospital, they took care of me, and now it's a matter of time before I become better. So yes, my friends, it's a terrible thing to be in an accident, but it's such a great thing to know that this country will be able to help you, and they don't see you as an outsider, but rather a person that is in need of help there and then. And I think for me that's a value that is much greater than having the top machine in the world, but rather seeing a person for who they are and what they need at that moment. I think that's really what should distinguish a hospital.
What is your expectation for the medical services in Vietnam in the future?
Wow. Well, most of all, I'm excited to see just how much more Vietnam can keep developing, not just in the medical field, but through business and exchanging through different countries. So with Vietnam developing at such a fast rate, I know that the people will be able to maintain this pace, and it's only a matter of time before Vietnam is one of those countries that has available top procedures, top surgeries, and top doctors. So rather than curiosity, I'm excited to see how Vietnam keeps growing in the medical field.
Once again, thank you for joining us and for your sharings today. And that's all we have for this episode of Sang Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at sangvietnam@netvietTV.net. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.